Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0 to look back. Myself, Mark Donaldson, alongside the five-time Premier League winner, Stevie Nicol. So, Stevie, no goals for the best team in the world, the Club World Cup champions, against a Palace side that might have had Eberechi Eze playing for them for the last time. Was a draw, first of all, a fair reflection of what we saw today?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think either side going forward, certainly in the attacking half of the field, deserve to win this game. And quite frankly, I think I do feel for Chelsea a little bit. You know, this probably was one of the worst games they could have had to start the season. They've only been back since the Club World Cup for 10 days. And they were never going to be 100%. Certainly were never going to be sharp enough against a Crystal Palace side that are so well organised that you need your legs to break them down. You need that extra sting in your legs. You know, you need to have that little half yard that can separate you from well organised defences. And so I do feel for Chelsea a little bit. They didn't really create any. I mean, I think 90th minute and the 94th minute, Delap had a chance and Santos had a chance. But other than that, absolutely nothing. Cole Palmer was invisible, as were most of the Chelsea side. But to be quite honest, I think this was just unfortunate that they were coming up against the Crystal Palace side who are clearly match fit, and Chelsea are not match fit.
We'll talk a lot more about Eberechi Eze later in the show, but he had the ball in the back of the net in the 13th minute. It's a free kick about 22 yards out. He went for power rather than precision, and the ball found its way swiftly beyond Robert Sanchez. 1-0 Palace, so we thought. But then VAR got involved. Mark Gahey was adjudged to have committed an infringement in the wall by pushing a Chelsea player to allow the gap for Eze to score. Referee Darren England announcing to the crowd after a review with VAR that the goal would be chalked off. Simple question, was it the right decision, first of all?
Well, 100%. I mean, I think the official announcement is that Gahey wasn't far enough away from the Chelsea wall. But the truth is, you can use either one. That was the case, but also it's a clear foul. I mean, he just completely shoves Caicedo out the road. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was that tough a decision, quite honestly. It is the correct decision. It was clear as day. When you see the replay, it's clear as day. And so, yeah, had that been allowed, that would have been a complete injustice.
What did Crystal Palace do well today to stifle Chelsea?
Crystal Palace today did exactly what Crystal Palace do. I mean, they are so organised. I mean, I think clearly for this game in particular, they completely and utterly jammed up the middle of the field and said, right, you're going to have to go wide. But Chelsea didn't want to go wide. I mean, I don't understand that part of it from Chelsea. You know, you've got Gittins on one side, Neto on the other side. Get them the ball then. If Palace want to jam the middle up, get these two guys the ball. That's why you spent all the money you did on both of them. Obviously, you've got Esteval who comes on as well. Tyreek George, another one who could have, you know, played in the wide areas to start with. Never mind be on the bench. So that to me is what this should have been about. But Chelsea never really tried to exploit that. And any time they did go wide, they just came back into the middle again. So. Listen, Palace was so organised, jammed the middle of the park. Chelsea had no answers for it. Again, a little bit of what I said earlier. When you don't have that little half yard in your legs that can separate you, when you're playing against a side like Palace who are so good defensively and organised, everybody knows the job, everybody does their job, then it's going to be tough. And it was really tough for Chelsea.
It's easy to focus on the so-called big team when they're playing against a side like Crystal Palace. But for me, it's a bit disrespectful to the likes of Palace, because you've said perfectly the way that they are and what they do. Do you think their FA Cup win will give them probably the credit that they deserve, and that going to Chelsea and drawing, and they'll look at that as maybe 2 points dropped, is where they are? Do you think that will give them the credit that they deserve, that they should be taken as a serious player in maybe a race for the top 10?
Yeah, I don't think that's in question. I think anybody who's certainly seen enough of Palace over the years will understand that this Palace side you know exactly what you're going to get from them every time they step on the field, and that's a coach's dream, and that's certainly down to the coach, but it's certainly down to the players as well. Now, if Palace decide that Gahey has to go and Eze has to go, then that could change things, because they're such a well-drilled, well-oiled machine that when you take a couple of important pieces out, it totally changes it. Certainly from a defensive point of view, if you take Gay away, how are they possibly going to replace him? And then from an attacking side of the game, obviously Palace play on the counter. And when you've got the quality that Eze has, he's absolutely perfect. Certainly with the work ethic he has to go with his ability, he's perfect in that Palace system. So, yes, I think 100% Palace will get or are getting the respect they deserve. But that could change if those two pieces of the puzzle disappear.
They found a way to be successful without Michael Olise when he went to Bayern. It was Eze and Sarr and behind Mateta with the width provided by the wing-backs. What would they lose if Eberechi Eze did say his goodbye to the Palace fans today and does sign for Spurs?
Well, I think it's clear it's goals. You know, when you generally are playing in a match where most of the time the opposition has most of the ball, then it's so important to have real quality that the opportunities that do come, then you're able to take them. And that's the difference. If Eze goes, boy, how are you going to replace his goals? I'm not so sure they can. And again, that'll change the way everybody thinks about Palace and plays against them.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of similar, the display by Chelsea today from the one that Paris Saint-Germain put in against Spurs in the Super Cup. There was lethargy, there was tiredness, they lacked effervescence. That's understanding. They're probably 2-3 weeks behind their opposition right now. When they're ready, when they're up to speed, maybe it'll be after the international break at the start of September. What can we expect realistically from Chelsea this season?
Well, realistically, they should be looking to be in the top four. I mean, that has to be the bottom line. That has to be the minimum. Top four. Certainly with the amount of money they spend in the transfer market, they have to be in and around the top four and have to be in the Champions League. Otherwise, 2 or 3 seasons outside of that, then surely that can't be sustainable with the amount of money they spend. So, yeah, they have to be looking at the top four. I think it's important that they get some points on the board early doors, because you don't want to be playing catch-up. They played catch-up last year and eventually got there. But you want to have a comfortable run. You don't want to be under pressure every time you step on the field so much. You want to just get the thing flowing, get the team playing, getting your best players, the likes of Palmer on the ball. I mean, João Pedro today, it's fantastic as we were talking about him in the Club World Cup. João Pedro just wasn't in the game. He wasn't in the races. No. Again, he's a player that has to be given the ball. And when nobody gives him it, then he can't produce what he's capable of. So, yeah, all of those things, particularly those players, have to get going. A little bit of luck along the way, always helps. But yeah, they need to start picking up points.
They've got Liam Delap, who came on as a striker. He's different from João Pedro, but today it was still Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0. Nicholas Jackson didn't really work, although he scored some goals. If Chelsea need one position to strengthen, would you say it's goalkeeper, defence, midfield, or the number 9?
No, I think João Pedro's been a great signing. Delap, still only 22, was never going to be coming straight in and being Chelsea centre forward. João Pedro for me was always going to be that guy. So I think they've filled that right now. I don't think you can say too much about that. I think the middle of the park looked good. Defensively, I thought young Ashapong did pretty well today. Mateta's a handful, and Mateta physically is too big and strong for most centre backs. So that part of the game today, I'm going to give Ashapong the benefit of the doubt. But I guess I'm not comfortable with Sanchez in goal. I'll be honest. I don't particularly rate him. You know, he made a save from a Mateta shot that was a snapshot. And as soon as he caught it, he couldn't wait to have a go at his defender. I mean, I don't like keepers like that. I like the cool, calm, calculated, calm down type of goalkeeper. I don't like the ones that try and point the finger at the defenders.
Like Bruce Grobbelaar, who was very calm behind you when you played. A little bit eccentric. He was a good goalkeeper. That's the bottom line. Joao Pedro will come good. Chelsea will come good. They just need a little bit of time. They looked tired. They're 2 or 3 weeks behind everybody else. But once the international break is out the way, expect Chelsea to fly on all cylinders. For Crystal Palace, without Eze, it might be different. But for now, that was a deserved point at Stamford Bridge to begin their Premier League season. Bye for now.